Well, welcome everybody again to this incredible lineup of conversations that I've been having. I'm Crystal, as you guys know, and I'm joined today by Sylvia Puentes, who is, I don't even know what your role is in Access Consciousness right now, but you do everything. And also a certified facilitator and a JCF. So I'm so glad to be here with you. I'm so grateful for you. So
Thank you,
thanks.
Crystal. Yay. And I
Yeah.
just want to say hi. I mean, you said this is going out to all the CFs. So just
Yeah.
hello, courageous worldwide beings. Truly, I see us as certified facilitators for access consciousness, but really for a greater planet. I mean, we
Yeah.
get to choose, or you and I are choosing Joy of Business as one of the platforms to add to our license for facilitating this incredible work that we know changes people's lives. The
Yeah.
specialty programs within Access, I see, are such a special way of reaching people through whatever door they're willing to come in to begin a conversation of consciousness.
Yeah,
So,
totally.
so
So
when you
you've
say,
been,
what do I
yeah, no,
do?
go, you go.
So that's what I do. Open up doors for more consciousness on the planet.
Yeah, cool. So, can you just facts? Like, how long have you been a CF? When did you choose this?
Wow, I think I discovered Access about 2010.
Yeah.
And it was a group of women that got together that, one lady just loved to do all this research. And one day she brought in the bars video and the embodiment book with Dr. Nay naked in the back cover. So I was like, oh, sure, I'm interested. I'm in. um, but that was the beginning of discovering how insane I was that I didn't know I was. Like, if you would have looked at my world then, it's like, oh yeah, I followed all the steps, had, I don't know, all the elements that you think are the target of life. And yet reflecting now, it's like I always knew there was more,
Yeah.
always more joy, more ease. Just I always had that within my being from a very, very young age. And so when I discovered Access and the bars, I thought, when I discovered that space of peace in my head that I didn't know could be there, or that was missing, or that I even had a monkey mind. So it was like, what the heck is that? And yet I couldn't deny, with one mini session from someone who didn't even, we didn't know what we were doing. We watched the video, but there was a piece, and there was a piece that I thought, wow, this is available.
Yeah.
And then that was the beginning of, then I think maybe a year and a half later, becoming a certified facilitator. So I'd
Yeah.
say I'd been a certified facilitator for a good 10 years.
Yeah. I remember when I met you, actually. I met you. You're one of the top people I remember when I first came to one of my big access classes. I think it was Dane's ESB. And to me, what stood out about you was your warmth and just
Mm.
how welcoming you were, and how I just, yeah, I didn't know what the heck was going on. I just said yes to this huge universe of access, and you made me feel so welcome. So I'm really
Wow.
grateful. Um, so, okay, so you added JCF to your life like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yes,
Yeah.
about maybe
Yeah.
4 years ago. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't time is
Can
so
I
funny, but yes,
I know
about
it's so weird talking about time. Do you tell me a little bit about like your entrepreneurial bent? Like, did you come into the world like entrepreneuring? Like, is that something you've learned that you're actually great at? Like, tell me a little bit about that part of you.
this is such a great conversation right now, because I'm beginning to kind of just extrapolate, examine what it's been like for me. That's been so different.
Yeah.
And we're about to begin the JCF training today in a few
Today.
hours. And yet again, I'm like, wow, what is it that I've always known?
Yeah.
Because one of the things I'm realizing is how much I've looked to other people's reality in business, relationship, everything really, to try to discover from there what my reality is, rather than really going, wow, what do I know that's so different? What have I always known? So, I grew up in California. Both my parents are from Mexico. So there was always this struggle of finances, and there was always this dream of something more. But very few people, as I was growing up, were actually following through with what their dreams were, what they desired. And I was just thinking, growing up, my father always wanted a restaurant. He always talked about having a restaurant. He was a great cook. He was also, what we all know as a humanoid, possibly even X-Men, but still met up against all what we see in the world. So he, created more than others, definitely. And he would buy different properties and homes. So he built real estate, and then he bought a property in Mexico. To this day, has a papaya and a mango ranch, as he's retired out there, but he's happy. This like brings
Yeah.
him joy. But no one ever talked about business.
Yeah.
And I remember there was one time where they had a property out by Chico, like 20 acres, and they sold it. And I was curious, and I'm like, wow, mom, how much did you guys owe? They're like, we had paid it off. And in my world, it was like, how? Like, my parents are very simple. They didn't make exuberant amount of money, and yet they found a way to pay that off. And so for me, that was the beginning when I actually dove in more to getting out of debt joyfully. I started to notice what my points of views were. And one of my points of views was, crazy enough, that in order to live, you had to be in debt.
Wow.
Yeah. So, as you discover your points of views with these incredible tools, you get to change them. So I realized, wow, my point of view creates my reality. That's been my point of view. If I was to change that, what else is possible? So with
Mm.
getting out of debt joyfully, it's amazing what changed. And it's, this is where like reading the book, taking the class, it's not cognitive, it's not linear. And next thing you knew, I had paid off, my car, my credit cards, and my school loan that I was putting off forever, like things. And I was like, how? Irrelevant. It's just something shifted. And that's the magic about changing our points of views. So with
Yeah.
joy of business, no, I didn't consider myself an entrepreneur. I didn't even consider, and even to this day, I'm
That's
noticing.
why I was asking.
Yeah, even to this day, I mean, you would look, and it could look like a business, and yet it's more the joy of creation for me.
Yeah, yeah. That's
And
why I was asking because you are very different and you're very different. I mean, I think that's everybody, but the way you create is very different and it has this incredible space to it and also this undeniable forward motion, but it's not a forward motion that you would necessarily recognize in this reality. I don't know how to explain it. Like when I perceive the way you create, it's just so different. And
yes.
that's why I wondered if you saw yourself as kind of this entrepreneur, or if it's more just like you're just in the world creating.
And that's the gift of joy of business and these
Yeah.
trainings. Because for me, it's like, I took a training maybe 2 years ago when Simone, and I had heard it before, but started talking about teams. I'm all right. This is where you call it like the chaos. So before class was over, I had 5 people in my team. What they were doing and how it was going to work, I had no idea, but they were ready to jump in.
Yeah.
And that you're right. And this is the part that I love to share with people because I didn't have it right, but I was willing to leap, and it's changed so much since then. But I'm also in a new space where like it's changing again.
Yeah.
I'm actually about to launch my website, and it's for those people that know I've kind of dabbled in having a website or two, but never was really excited about it. Like I never felt I needed, the business cards, the business plan, the website, and yet everything I've tapped in to start to create would always grow. And so now I'm going, okay, so now I'm excited because there is this new demand. And so the website will go out. And I'm like, how much fun can we have with it, with the chaos of it, but also for people just to have one more way, not only to find me, but the tools of the
Yeah.
possibilities of something greater for any area of your life. So I'm excited.
I'm excited. And I actually, to become a Joy Business Facilitator, needed to take a business and different, and I took mine with you. And I'm fairly picky. So I was really looking at like, what will my life be like in 5 years? And Sylvia was like, yes. And what was so interesting to me was what I got out of it. Because like, I mean, Business Indifferent is this incredible, ridiculously massive, gargantuan manual on class. But I was talking to somebody about what I got out of it, and what I left with it that changed my life was what you came in with, which is the space you are and the relaxation you are that I didn't know how to find in my own world.
Mm.
And so, what would you say the greatest gift for you is in facilitating these, Joy Business classes?
And I would say each class, is a gift. And excuse me, I've just
It's okay. The joy of business is everything's included.
everything's nobody knows, not being stalked by anyone or anything. Uh, um, I'd say, I'm always being gifted by every class. And what I discovered with the Joy of Business class is that it's a gem. It's a
Yeah.
gem in the way Simone has created this manual, the tools. And I would say that willingness to let go of the form and structure,
Mm.
the perfection and the linearity of how we have been told business should be created. There is a trust in the universe that I have,
Yeah.
that the universe has my back, that I'm just now really beginning to acknowledge the power of that. But I would say that, like, I know it's not linear. I've always known it wasn't linear. And that opens up my receiving from all sorts of different places. So there is a relaxation in that. And I see the gift. I see the gift where when people start to be them, that is so irresistible. And there is a relaxation in being you.
Yeah.
And so that gift of, we all have this unique way of being, not right or wrong, good or bad, but when you step out of the judgment and you have that, then business becomes fun, whether you see it as business or creation, like there's a joy and an ease to that. So you start to open that up for people, then creation and everything exponentializes. I mean, that's how. And conscious, it's almost like I perceive conscious going like, oh, you have more of you. Let me give you more. Like that space. And here's another way. And where things start to actualize in a way that you didn't imagine. And I see that with my son, who's 23. And he right now has added more to his life, which is one of the things we talk about in Joy of Business. That, right? That it's not about eliminating things and getting rid of, like, to have a tight budget, but as he's added more to his life where he thought he didn't have enough time, he has this exuberance of living. His income has increased. His new possibilities are showing up. And I'm like, wow, if we could all have that. I mean, he has that at 23. Like, if we could all have that, like, then life would, you couldn't be bored. Like,
Yeah.
there's so much to choose, play with, and create. And, with that comes new demands. I have a new demand in my world. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but Gary's been talking about this term about playing patty cake. Like you're just like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm all, shit, have I been patty cake in my business?
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now it's like, wow, what's new? What else is possible?
And that's so cool because the energy for this like whole training is like follow the demand. And I think it's follow the demand in the world, follow the demand in your world. Like, what would it take if we were willing to be owned by what it is we actually are choosing to create? Like, let it transform our lives and transform the world around us. And yeah.
Exactly. And I think the one other thing I would say is that the more I acknowledge that it hasn't really been about me. It includes me, but it hasn't been about me.
Yeah.
When you said that there was this space that you perceived, someone just left me a message this morning about the energy of kindness. And I used to see that as a weakness. And yet I see it now as that space of allowance and no judgment, you know. And if we had that more for ourselves, it would be a different planet. And
Oof.
and for me, it's like joy of business is inviting businesses, people, being to something totally new that will create a different energy on the planet,
Yeah.
and products and services and all that. But it really is an energy that contributes to a more sustainable planet. So, for me, it's like when I don't wanna do the video, I got a snotty nose, I gotta do, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, it's not about me. What will this create? When you say the
Yeah.
willingness to be owned, are we willing to be in the question, if I choose this, what will my life be like in 5 years, 10 years? What will the planet be like in 500? And
Yeah.
that's the courageous, you know, I would say, choice and movement forward to something greater than just us, our stories, limitations, to outcreate all of that.
Yeah. Oh man, so cool. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful for you and coming on when everything's blowing up. Um, and guys, thank you for watching. And if you'd like to join us last minute, you're more than welcome. You can reach out to me and I can help assist with that. And if you're watching this in the future, what would adding more of the joy of business for you create for you and for the planet? And what else is possible?
Fair. Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you, Crystal. And thank
Cool.
you, all facilitators, just for whatever you're choosing, and know that
Yeah.
you always have another choice. And I would say, I would like to invite all of us to realize we're not alone. If you have stuff coming up, like, reach out to someone, whoever that may be, because I would say if we're truly going to create a different planet, we have to be willing to have each other's back. No one is right or wrong. It's just if you're willing to look at it, you're willing to ask questions, like, let's empower ourselves to have the best life, living, and planet that we know we can have. So thank you.
Thank you.
Good
See you
luck.
guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye.